Thank you for joining me on the Darren Chatter podcast. I'm going to be reading some of my blog posts that I have written so that you can consume this information in an audio format versus reading the blogs if this is more to your liking. I'm going to share with you stories from my past as an athlete, as a coach, as a salesperson, as a business professional, as a VP of sales, everything that I have learned and amassed along the way in my 50 years here on planet Earth. I'm going to hope to share with you in order to help you shorten your learning curve, understand maybe a little different way to look at things, and hopefully learn a few things along the way. So here was the podcast you tuned in for. I hope you enjoy it. Please reach out to me when you can and let me know your thoughts. Thank you. Hi there, and thank you for joining me for podcast number 130, entitled Facilitating Metamorphosis. Whether you are a coach, a teacher, or a manager, your job is to get the people in your charge to their next level. Keep in mind that everyone has a different ceiling and you cannot mentor everybody in the same manner. But I firmly believe that if you are in a leadership role, it is your job to make sure the people in your charge level up. You need to help facilitate their metamorphosis from the caterpillars that they are into the butterflies that you know that they can be. Having spent over 25 years as a coach on the racquetball court, I have put in countless hours teaching life skills disguised as racquetball lessons. It took me a while to catch on to this, but everyone from a CEO of a company to a young adult benefited from the discipline and the forced rehearsal of the skills that we were working on. They took this approach into other areas of their lives and saw improvement because of it. Not only was the fitness of playing racquetball a good addition, but the discipline of learning the new skills and practicing them diligently on the court clearly had a direct benefit off the court as well. Now that I have spent 13 years as the head coach of the Arizona State University racquetball team, instead of just a collection of random individuals, I can really see the different personalities coming into play and how each person must be coached differently. Some of the girls needed a kick in the butt. Some of the guys needed a pat on the back. It's not always obvious who needs what from you to bring out their best. Getting the best out of someone requires that you get to know them and what motivates them. Some will have a huge desire to please. Others will do it for themselves, and the byproduct of that is that their wins will benefit the team as a whole. There was many a student I never thought being a collegiate All-American would be achievable, especially in some cases where they had never played this sport before college. Racquetball is in the unique position of having a designation within the U.S. Olympic Committee that affords the luxury of collegiate All-American status. If you make the semifinals of your division, you have achieved collegiate All-American status. It's the same as the football players get and the baseball players get. Any athlete across the board, a collegiate All-American, is viewed the same regardless of the sport. Helping someone reach this designation in their time with me in their college years has probably been one of the most proud coaching accomplishments that I have ever had. While I have not spent much time in a true classroom-based teaching role, I have functioned as a teacher and a coach for the majority of my life. I am actually in progress of exploring the possibility of teaching in a classroom setting in the near future, hoping to parlay my experiences in racquetball and in the business world into teachable moments I can share with others. I love the idea of helping someone discover more about themselves or overcome an obstacle to what they're trying to achieve. The thought that years from now I would run into someone who comes to me and says, "Thank you for what you taught me. It had a huge impact on my life," would probably be the most satisfying thing I could ever experience. I have had this on a small scale as the racquetball team has provided that, and expanding to possibly university level classes would amplify my potential impact, and I find that very enticing. Having been a sales manager in several different companies, I have employed the same approach to those teams as well. Some want to excel, some want to stay in their role, and it's my job to figure out who is who and how to manage them accordingly. The best thing I can do in my role as a manager is to train my replacement. Elevating someone to the next level of their career is a primary job of mine in a role as a manager. And whether they take my place because I moved up or I moved on, my job is to help facilitate that metamorphosis. Sometimes you have a person who already stands out as a salesperson and doesn't need much encouragement or pushing. In fact, in some cases, you're better off letting that person do their thing and focus on the others, assuming that that previously mentioned person does not abuse this freedom. Again, you are learning who you are working with and how to manage them accordingly. Here is the takeaway. You can't be a good coach, a good teacher, or a good manager if you are selfish. You have to give of yourself unconditionally to all those who will receive your help. Not everyone will, and you can't really change that in most cases. But pouring as much of yourself into others for their benefit is the key to success in developing those in your charge to be the best version of themselves. Your reward is seeing them succeed, knowing that you helped and that made a difference. Don't expect to be named when they're on stage receiving an award or they land a big contract or get promoted. Those moments are not about you. Those moments belong to that individual. Your contribution was a small part in the overall process. They did a large majority of the work in most cases. You had a flashlight and you led them out of the dark for a while. They finished the rest of that hike by themselves. Take pride in your small contribution, knowing that you did make a difference. Then move on quickly to the next, as there are many more people in need of your knowledge and experience. I wish you luck in your endeavors. So a couple of other thoughts on that. Coaching has been one of the most, if not the most personally rewarding thing I've ever done. I have absolutely seen people who have succeeded on the court transfer those same skills off the court and have even greater successes. Being a part of that, sharing my knowledge that I have accrued over the years, shortening the learning curve for others, all of those things are very, very rewarding. And I love helping somebody achieve that next level or the best version of themselves. We're all a work in progress, me included. I certainly don't look at my life today as the sum total of who I'm going to be. But being 50 years old, I certainly have far more experience and knowledge than the players on a college team that I work with, or somebody who is new into the business world or new to my company that I am helping mentor and get them on the right track. Again, you have to be selfless in those roles. You have to understand that as the manager, you get all the blame. As the coach, you're responsible for your players. It's easy to take the accolades, but you have to take the bad side of that stuff too. If you have a player who misrepresents themselves and the university and ultimately you, that is your responsibility. And I have had that conversation with a few players. I remind them that it might say ASU on the front of your shirt, but it says my name on the back of your shirt. And you sure as hell better remember that the next time you go out there. I don't believe I've ever had that conversation twice with the same person. If you do it effectively, the message should get across and the behavior should change. There are some people that are going to need more than one swing at that to get it right, to break that pattern of behavior. But I have been fortunate to have not had a huge struggle with the players that I've worked with. In my business career, having managed several different teams of people, the personalities certainly come into play. In a team environment, they have to be able to work and support one another, as well as be functional individuals on their own in that team environment. Sales is tough because you are typically judged on, what have you done for me lately? A top performing salesperson can have an unbelievable year and receive, presidential award and things like that. And the next year, change something, start doing things differently, and slide back to the middle of the pack. It's just how it is. It's human nature. It's people get lazy, people get complacent. They start allowing other interests to take precedent over what their responsibilities used to be. Who knows? There's a myriad of things that can change. And again, as a manager, you need to truly know and understand your people and help them correct those problems, or ideally avoid them altogether. You're not expected to have all the answers as a coach or a manager, but what you have in terms of experience and knowledge is expected to be shared in a positive light, and make sure that you are, again, help facilitating the metamorphosis from where somebody is now to that next level that they're trying to get to. And remember, that benefits everybody. If you're on a sports team, everybody benefits from the individual wins that player has, or the contribution that they make for the team. In the business world, whether it's sales or account management or whatever it may be, the more everybody succeeds, the better off the company is as a whole, and that trickles down to every single employee of that company. It is truly for the greater good that you are trying to help the individuals in your charge get better and achieve that next level. There are a lot of books and podcasts and other things out there that can really help with the specifics of management and leadership. I would certainly recommend that you start the process and read some of the books that are the modern classics on those kind of things. Certainly Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, from the early 1900s, still stands the test of time today. But there are a lot of books that have been written in the last 10 years that are excellent and offer different management styles and different ways of coaching and helping people. And having a well-rounded knowledge of all of those things can only help your efforts as well. As always, I don't have the answers to everything, but you are welcome to the answers I have. If I can be of assistance, please reach out to me through my website at darrenchatter.com or any of my social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, at Darren Chatter. I would be ecstatic to hear from you, help you in any way that I can, and certainly look forward to continuing the process of helping you help others. And one more thing, I wish you luck in your endeavors.